In this quick video guide, we're going to see how we can create easily and quickly a bracelet shape here, a bracelet object, which could be also like, I don't know, a necklace or another piece of jewelry like a ring, using a particular structure, particular pattern of hexagons, kind of a honeycomb structure. So let's go from the beginning and let's create this little piece of jewelry in Blender. So I'm gonna go to File and do New, General, and let's start from here. So first thing I'm gonna do is delete the cube, of course, because we don't need this. And then to do this really easy, we can use a particular add-on. So let's go to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons. Now let's search for Extra, and we need to activate these two add-ons. Well, actually, just the first one, but I think also the curve will be useful in many occasions. So just activate the curve and the mesh extra objects right here. Then when you finish, you close the panel. So to create the first structure, basic structure, we go to Add, Mesh, and let's go all the way down here. So you see some extra meshes here that just appeared, and let's go to Extras, and let's go down here to Honeycomb. And this is going to create the first basic structure of the honeycomb. Now this will be enough to create a earring or a ring or a necklace or a bracelet. But what we're going to do is click here and just experiment a little bit with this. So first thing we can do is increase the number of rows. There you go. So we create a longer structure, longer and longer. Now later we will bend this into a ring shape. But now you can see we can expand this with rows and with columns. So this could become also like a panel for architecture, for the exteriors of a building, or interiors, could become anything. It's just a basic pattern that we can use. So you can also change the cell diameter, and this will become bigger with the thinner lines, and we can make it smaller. So it's going to change basically the proportions here also in the angles, the corners. And also we can increase the width to make like holes, little holes, or maintain this big structure like the honeycomb or beehive. Now let's also change your view. This is oriented now to the world, and now if I change the view, it's going to be oriented to the view, or I can orient this to the 3D cursor, or I can rotate it later, wherever. So you have also here location, rotation. So you can rotate this like, let's say 90 degrees around the X. And just click and drag, and you need to change this to the world and then rotate, otherwise it won't rotate. So this could become a panel. And if I want to use it like a panel or like for architecture, let's go back here and create it again. So let's go Mesh, Extra, Honeycomb, and I need to like increase the height, because this is now a flat shape. It's not even a solid, it's just a surface, a poly surface actually. So to make it a solid that I can use for anything, I can go to from object mode to the edit mode, select all faces here. So I'm gonna go to the face selection, select all faces, and then extrude. And there you go. So this can become like buildings or a panel or whatever. So I can continue here with polygonal modeling to model this up in many, many ways. But I don't want to do this. I want to do a piece of jewelry. So I'm just gonna like extrude this just a little like this, because this is like metal or some material that is really thin. Okay. Now, how do we curve this into something that is going to be rounded and not flat? So we made the 3D object. Now let's go back to object mode, and we need a curve to curve this. So let's go and add curve, and let's add a circle here, standard circle. Okay, now this is going to be too small for what we need to do, so I'm just going to increase this. And I don't want to work like with precise values. This is going to be 7 meters, so it's definitely not going to be the size of a jewelry piece, but this is just to make an example. You can proportion everything as you need. So the next thing is I'm going to move into the properties panel on the right and select this little button right here, which is the properties for the curve object. And here in the fill mode, I don't want to fill the shape, so I'm going to say none. So I just see the path of the circle here. And then if I go down in geometry, well, I can also make this visible by using the bevel and increasing the depth. So I can actually have a ring so that this is going to be more visible. But I don't really need that. I just need the circle. So you can decide whether you want to see it in 3D or not. Since we're going to create a circle with the honeycomb, I don't really need that. So just get rid of the fill mode and put it to none. And now what I want to do is rotate the circle. I can use the rotation ray here. So I can rotate it 90 degrees so that it goes like in vertical. And again, I want to take off the fill mode. I don't know why it appeared again. And now let's go outside the object. So I'm going to go from edit mode to object mode. And now we'll select the honeycomb shape here, or honeycomb solid. And then I'm going to go to the modifiers. Now in the modifiers, I'm going to add here a modifier which is called the curve modifier, and it's under the deformation modifier. So deform curve, and then I'm going to click on this picker, object picker, and click on the circle, and there you go. Now you see the pattern has been applied to this curve. So it's starting to become curvy, but it's kind of a small piece. So I need more pieces, I need more repetition. Now, since this is a pattern, I can increase the number of repetition using an array. So I'm going to go to add modifier and go to generate. First one on the top, array. Now be careful, because if I increase the array like this, it's going to go like this direction and it's not going to go on the curve. So what I need to do is take this array modifier, click and drag it on top of the curve modifier like this. There you go. Now we have a pattern that is repeating around the curve. But we also have some gaps here we want to adjust. We want to fix that. So I'm going to go in the offset here. I'm going to adjust the offset. I can do this with the relative, but also constant offset. So expand this, increase the distance, and now we have it. We have a perfect match there. So we can also like slightly overlap depending on how you want to create this, but let's say this is good enough for what we need to do. And then we can increase the count until we complete the circle. Now if this is too much, or if it's too the gap is too big or is overlapping, we need to adjust the size of the initial element. So we need to kind of resize it a little bit. We can also use the scale. So I'm going to click and drag. You can see that I will slightly resize. Now, since this is like a necklace or a bracelet or a ring, could be also a little bit adjustable here. So you can leave a little gap if you want. Otherwise, you can be more precise using the scale here, down here. So just want to leave just a little gap right there. And there you go. Now, the other thing we want to do to make things a little bit nicer is add one last modifier. So I'm going to go to add and generate and use the bevel. Bevel is going to add a nice rounded corner here. So you can define the amount of beveling. So you can make this just little bevel. You can make it extreme depending on your idea. And also you can increase the segments to make it more rounded. Be careful not to increase the number of segments too much, because those will be repeated over and over again. And that's it. So this is the jewelry right here. And this will conclude our quick video guide here. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please subscribe to the channel to stay updated for more. And also you can join the channel as a supporter if you want to support us in creating more videos. And also if you want to thank us for this video guide. I'm trying to do a random here, but you know that's going to be in another lesson. And you can check also other video courses and video guides in Blender in the channel. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video guide.